Hi, I want to welcome Nancy Phenis Bourke for our interview with the IMA board. Welcome, Nancy.
Thank you, Lisa. I'm glad to be interviewed, and I'm looking forward to this next few minutes.
Well,
I am with IMA for 12 years, and I have been engaged because I am so passionate about mentoring and the whole process. I've been working with the National Principals Association for 19 years. We developed some mentor training with them out of Washington, D.C., actually Alexandria. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to giving back to IMA even more.
wonderful. Well, one of the reasons we wanted to do this video series is because the people who are on the board of IMA have such rich, deep knowledge and passion around mentoring itself. And it would be such an asset to the people who are interested in mentoring as IMA members or even otherwise to really learn from all of us. So I'm curious, what interests you most about mentoring?
That's a good question, and I accept that question. I think the most thing is that I have had a mentor my entire life, and as I didn't know that until I reached a phase that I was reflecting on my life. Took some time to reflect, and early on, I identified my mentor helping me through some critical times when I was in college. I guess that was my first mentor uh, experience. And then I went on, and I have found that every phase of my life, I've had mentors to help me through any critical issues. I've been blessed. I haven't had very many, but I've had mentors along my side to walk the path of life.
You're just paying it forward. It's wonderful.
I sure am.
That's great. So
Blessed.
tell us a little bit more about the work that you do in the mentoring field.
Sure. As I said, I was associated with the National Principals Association out of Alexandria. We developed a principal mentor program. It was a certified mentor program, and we had, I think, over 200 cohorts that we worked with over the 19 years that I was involved with them. We did a training, and then we did cohort online meetings, and they were responsible for doing some projects along the way and doing some reflection. And I was blessed to be able to hire the coaches, and we had 25 coaches I hired to work with the folks that were going through the training. So I felt each one of those coaches, even though I was mentoring them, I felt that I grew because I felt it was an exchanged relationship, two-way.
That's great. What did you see as were some of the outcomes for principals after going through the mentoring program?
Oh my gosh. The data that we was all narrative, of course, and we found that principals are so alone in their position that they do not have anyone to be secure or advocate for them. They're always advocating for the students, the kids, and the teachers, etc. And they really didn't have mentors or advocates for themselves. So we found that in the cohorts and the training, that the principals loved having this training and the know-how to reach out to other principals across the country. So it was a real experience to see them network and grow and have relationships that they didn't have when they're in the building day by day. So it was a rich experience, and it continues to thrive.
I love that. You know, it really highlights one of the benefits of mentoring, which is the sense of connectedness. It's not just connectedness with your mentor or with your mentee, but it's connectedness with the mentoring community. That's
Absolutely.
so transformative. What do you think is the most important organizational factor for mentoring success, Nancy?
I really believe the commitment an individual has, both the mentee and the mentor. I believe that both have to have a real genuine commitment to the time factor and to transparency, being transparency. Uh, and I also think it's key that both are learning. Uh, a lot of times mentors go into the process and have no clue that they're going to be learning as well. So I think the process itself, along with the relationship and 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 learning, uh,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
both the mentee and the mentor.
Yeah. If it's not a learning relationship for both of them, it's really something other than mentoring, isn't it?
That's true.
Yeah. What advice do you have for new mentors?
I think knowing upfront um, that the time, the commitment, you have to be upfront about that there is a commitment, and knowing that the benefits, whether it's in a business world or whether it's in an educational setting, institution, or just in life in general, having a mentor, I think the commitment has to be there. I also believe that each individual must be transparent
Mm,
with their feelings and where they're going to help other people grow, to help their mentee grow. So I think that's significant, very much so.
yeah. Let me ask you about that commitment piece. So when you say the commitment is there, what does that look? What does it look like to be committed?
That's I think you have to have the passion in your in intrinsically in your heart. You have to have the passion to help other people grow, and be passionate and happy that they have grown or that they will be able to grow, and that you can set the stones for their path and be happy for them
Mm,
as they go through their journey, whether it's in a career that they're building or whether they've had some conflict in their corporate world. So I think the commitment looks like that. I think you have to know yourself before you can be a mentor. You
mm-hmm.
really have to uh, be able to share your commitment and be transparent. So
Yeah,
that's what I think commitment looks like.
that's great. And what about for mentees? Is your advice the same for new mentees, or is there something else that you would advise new mentees?
Oh, I think it would be definitely would be the commitment. I think the mentee also knowing that if they're in a situation that grounding themselves by being transparent to the mentor, and I think commitment would be my advice to the mentee as well.
Awesome. Yeah, it's important for sure for both people and organizationally. It's an organizational commitment's
Oh,
important
oh,
too.
definitely.
Huge, right?
Mhm.
So what's happening right now in the field of mentoring that you're finding most exciting?
Well, interesting. We've been, designing the mentor training program, so we have been reading and researching, and we're finding that even the millennials wish to have mentors, and if the business world or if their work field does not provide that, they develop it themselves. They wish to have that. They want it. They see the need
Yeah.
for a mentor program. So we're seeing that. We're seeing the trends of many. I talk about two, mentor and mentee, but there's triads. There's so many different facets in mentoring, and we're seeing that's being coming out, developing, that it can be a group mentoring situation, a triad. So that's in the research as well. Some of the trends that we see, the men and women mentoring each other. That seems to be a trend, and we're uh, we're finding authors out there that are doing research that it is likely that you could have men be with women mentors and be successful. There's some research out there with that. So I think that's going to be something that's coming out in now and in the future. I think that's going to be huge in our culture because there's so few women in the business world to actually be in that position. So the men are stepping up to the plate, so to speak. So I'm glad to see that trend.
Yeah, it's exciting, super exciting.
Mhm.
So my final questions for you, Nancy. I want, you mentioned mentor training, and I certainly know what you're talking about, but I'm not sure everybody who's watching this does, and it's super exciting. So do you want to just do a quick plug for what that
Yeah,
is
I do.
and what's
I sure
coming
do.
down the pike? Yeah.
Well, yes, I sure do. We have the International Mentoring Association Executive Board gave a charge to the board to develop a training program, and that is a result because we've had a lot of people inquire, why don't we do that? We want, they wish to have, they want a mentor program. So we are in the final stages of producing that, and we're going to lay it out October 2nd, 2020, one day mentor training at Indiana University, Purdue University in Indianapolis, Indiana. So we just finished a conversation with them moments ago, and we're going to start rolling out the registration the end of February. So we're right around the corner, and we will be developing a toolkit with that training. So we're excited. We anticipate 250 in attendance.
That's spectacular. So
Isn't that
what
great?
we'll do when we put this up on the IMA YouTube channel is in the notes below this video, you'll be able to have a link to the IMA website. So you can
Okay,
sign up for the training, and we're recording this at the end of January 2020. So in all likelihood, but that link will be live by the time this gets posted. So really encourage you, if you're
perfect.
interested in the mentor training, to look in the notes below this video to do that. Nancy.
And I want to give a plug also, excuse me, I want to give a plug also. We're doing that in conjunction with the National Mentoring Symposium that IUPUI does every year in Indianapolis. And last year they had 200 in attendance. So we're doing it as a collaboration with them. So
Great.
it's so exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great way to go to the symposium and learn a lot about mentoring from a lot of different voices, and then get your own training
That's right.
in mentor
That's right.
training as well. So really encourage that, and it's going to be fantastic. There's a lot of hard work and planning that's going into it, and it's going to contribute a ton to the field of mentoring and to the offerings of IMA. So Nancy, if folks want to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
They can go on the International Mentoring website, mentoringassociation.org, and all of the board members are listed there as well as myself.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your time and energy and contribution to this conversation. And I'm so excited to launch this onto the IMA YouTube channel. There's so many benefits of IMA membership. So if you're not yet a member and you're watching this, go to that IMA website. Again, that'll be in the notes below. And we'll look forward to your questions and involvement. Thanks,
It's
Nancy.
been my pleasure, Lisa.